Hello everyone, welcome to daily current affairs discussion of the day 19th September. Just make a correction here, it's 19th September daily current affairs discussion. So here we begin. First up, question number 1 is related to polity. Let's read out the question. Match list 1 with list 2 and identify the correct code given below. Identify the correct code given below. On the left side we have constitutional provisions, and on the right side we have source from which this particular constitutional provision has been borrowed. The first one is fundamental right, DPSP, cabinet government, and union and state relations. So here we have British, Canada, and from US and USA. So here codes were given. We have to choose the correct code of the given options. So before solving the question, let's have a little bit of brainstorming discussion about these sources of Constitution of India. So we have borrowed important provisions from various countries. Firstly, from British we borrowed the parliamentary system of government, and after then single citizenship and legislative procedures, and also parliamentary privileges, and also cabinet form of government, and rule of law. So all these provisions were borrowed from British Constitution, and we also borrowed bicameral legislature. So parliamentary system of government, and single citizenship, legislative procedures, parliamentary privileges, cabinet form of government, rule of law, and bicameral legislature. So all these provisions were borrowed from Britain Constitution. And next, Canada. From Canada Constitution we borrow federal form of government with unitary bias. And the next provision we borrowed, the residuary powers were vested with center. So that's what we call unitary bias. And also there were many subjects that were present in the union list compared to state list as well as concurrent list. So federal form of government, residuary powers vested with center, and one more important provision that the India has been adopted, basically India has been borrowed from Canada Constitution, is that we inculcated in Article 143 of Constitution of India, which talks about advisory jurisdiction. So President can seek the advice from Supreme Court of India, although this advice is not binding in nature. However, this advice at the end of the day has to be followed by the government, because once the advice should not be followed by the government, whatever the action that was taken by the executive, or whatever the law made by the parliament, that eventually tend to do unconstitutional by the judiciary, because if any law violates fundamental right, and also if any law doesn't prepared by the competent authority, and also if any law fundamental rights, competent authority, and if any law violates the constitutional inner core philosophy, then judiciary tend to make the null and void, make the law as null and void. Eventually it means what? Unconstitutional. So government of the day has to follow the advice attended by the Supreme Court, and this advice, it is not compulsory for the Supreme Court to provide such advice, but in pre-constitutional matters it is mandatory for the Supreme Court to provide such advice. So from Canada we borrowed three provisions: federal form of government, residuary powers, and advisory jurisdiction. So all these provisions were borrowed from Canadian Constitution of India. So we see Britain, we see Canada, and next is Irish Constitution. Important, from Irish Constitution we borrow directive principles of state policy, which is mentioned in part 4 of the Constitution of India. So these principles basically were from articles ranging from articles 36 to 51, and these were non-justiciable non-justiciable. Although these were non-justiciable, these provisions were fundamental in the governance of the country. So this DPSP talks about the welfare state. This DPSP talks about the welfare state, and DPSP, there were several provisions from 38 to 51. There were several provisions reflecting the ideals of Gandhian principles and liberal principles and social intellectual principles. So this is about the DPSP. So why we discussing DPSP? Because the DPSP's idea were borrowed from the Irish Constitution. Understand? And next, from Irish Constitution, we borrowed the provision of election procedure for President of India. For President of India. So in the Constitution of India, Article 54 and 55 contains the provisions related to election and manner of election into the President of India. So Electoral College for President of India is what? Electoral College for President of India is elected MPs, elected MLAs, and elected MLAs of state legislature of Puducherry and Delhi. So this was also borrowed from Irish Constitution. And one more main important is nomination procedure of Rajya Sabha members. So Article 80 Clause 3 talks about President of India can nominate 12 members to the Rajya Sabha, which is Council of State, on the fields of art, literature, science, and social service. So on these four fields, the President of India can nominate 12 members to Rajya Sabha. This provision has been borrowed from what? This provision has been borrowed from Irish Constitution. And the fourth one is US Bill of Rights. So from United States of America, we borrowed the provisions like what? Fundamental rights and judicial review, independence of judiciary, and impeachment procedure of President of India and the Vice President's office, and also removal of Vice President's procedure, and the removal procedure for Supreme Court and High Court judges. So all these provisions were borrowed from United States of America. So with this given information, let's solve the question. Fundamental rights borrowed from USA. So first one is 4, and DPSP is borrowed from Irish Constitution, as we discussed. It is 3, and the cabinet form of government or cabinet form of government borrowed from what? Borrowed from British. So option 1. And union state relations is borrowed from Canada. So option 2. So what is the code? 4312. 4312. So option A is the right option for question number 1. And moving next, question number 2. Which team has won the Duleep Trophy 2025? So remember, Duleep Trophy is India's domestic first class cricket tournament, and for the year 2025, this is 62nd edition. And this 62nd edition was won by the Central Zone by defeating South Zone, and with 6 wickets in hand. And this was a victory for Central Zone. This is the 7th victory. Remember, this is the 7th victory for Central Zone after 11 years. So which team has won the Duleep Trophy? The Duleep Trophy was won by the Central Zone, and the captain for Central Zone team was Rajit Patidar. So initially he was also captain for IPL team, which is Royal Challengers Bangalore. On 18th edition, RCB won the IPL title IPL title under the captainship of Rajat Patidar as well. Rajat Patidar. So Rajat Patidar RCB title and this Duleep Trophy 2025 title. So answer would be Central Zone by defeating South Zone, which is for question number 2, option D is the right option. And moving forward, question number 3, who has been appointed as Secretary to Vice President of India, and his name is C.P. Radhakrishnan. So on September 9th, Election Commission of India declared that 15th Vice President of India elected was C.P. Radhakrishnan. So because upon the resignation of Jagdeep Dhamkar, 14th Vice President, so elections were conducted to the office of Vice President. So the election procedure is mentioned in Article 66, and from Article 63 to 69, the Vice President's office provisions were mentioned in the Constitution. 60C is important because there shall be Vice President of India is mentioned in Article 63, and 69 is talking about oath of Vice President of India, and 64 is also important. Whosoever becomes the Vice President of India is eventually acted as ex officio chairman of Council of State, which basically means Rajya Sabha. So this is about important constitutional provision related to Vice President. And the secretary appointed to Vice President C.P. Radhakrishnan was Amit Khare. Therefore option A, Amit Khare, is the right option. And next question, which is question number 4, this is also important. When was World Ozone Day 2025 observed? Options for 16th, 17th, 18th and 19th September. You see, World Ozone we called as what? We called as Earth Umbrella. Because ozone protects us from the harmful UV radiation. Reaches to our skin, and also it protects our skin, and also it protects from various diseases and disorders like cataracts, cancer, and skin care. So all this basically what does this ozone does? Ozone prevents the harmful UV radiation reaching the Earth's surface. So which is why ozone, which is O3, is highly helpful for humans. And this ozone is our friend when it is far. It is our friend, but when it is close to us, it is very harmful to humans. So when it is close, it is our enemy, and when it is far, it is our friend. The chemical formula is O3. And the important points related to ozone for the examination is, ozone is present in which layer of the atmosphere? If you see the atmosphere, it has troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, thermosphere and exosphere. So positive lapse rate, negative lapse rate, positive lapse rate, negative lapse rate and positive lapse rate. So these were lapse rate that you will discuss in the that you will learn in or came across in the geography climatology topics. So go through those phenomena. So ozone is located in stratosphere. Remember, ozone is present in stratosphere, and World Ozone Day is observed on 16th September. Remember, World Ozone Day is observed on 16th September, and the theme for the day is, remember, from science to global action. From science to global action. So World Ozone Day is observed on 16th September, and the theme for the day is from science to global action. So this is related to question number 4, 16th September. Option A is the right option. And question number 5, when was World Patient Safety Day 2025 celebrated? So World Patient Day is majorly concerned about this ensuring the safety of newborn babies and child care to get the safe health and quality health facilities for children, for a child. So this World Patient Safety Day is observed on 17th September, and the theme for the day is safe care for every newborn and every child. So as we discussed, this patient safety day is talking about safety of newborn babies and child. So which is why the theme also goes on safe care for every newborn and every child, and this was observed on 17th September. Therefore option A is right option for question number 5th. And moving next, question number 6, who has been awarded as International Cricket Council's Men's Player of the Month for August 2025. So in the men's category, this was won by Mohammad Siraj. So therefore option C, Mohammad Siraj has awarded the ICC Player of the Month, Men's Player of the Month for the month of August 2025. Therefore option C is the right option for question number 6th. And next question, which is question number 7th, important, who took oath as Chief Justice of the Manipur High Court. So Manipur Chief Justice High Court. So previously, before that, the appointment of oath of Chief Justice is mentioned in Article 217 of the Indian Constitution. So Article 216 says appointment of High Court Chief Justice. So the oath of High Court Chief Justice is administered by Governor of the concerned state, and in this scenario, the Chief Justice of Manipur appointed was, and her name is Justice M. Sundar. And she has been appointed as Chief Justice of Manipur High Court. And this oath of hers was administered by whom? Ajay Kumar Balla, and he is the Governor of Manipur State. So Justice M. Sundar has been appointed as a Chief Justice of Manipur High Court, and this constitutional provision is Article 217. So therefore option D, right option for question number 7th. And question number 8, important, hypersonic cruise missile named Zircon and developed by which of the following country? Remember, Zircon, not China. This was developed by Russia. So hypersonic cruise missile Zircon was developed by Russia. So therefore option B, right option for question number 8. And question number 9, who has won the India's first ever gold at Speed Skating World Championship 2025. So remember, his name is Kumar Kumar. With that, the option is option C, Anand Kumar, and Anand Kumar Velkumar is the right option. Anand Kumar Velkumar, won the India's first ever gold at Speed Skating World Championship 2025. Therefore option C, right option for question number 9th. And question number 10th, Reunion Island is in use and is a territory of which of the following country? So Reunion Island is located in the Indian Ocean, and this is a part of territory of France. So this is the French territory. Therefore option C is the right option for question number 10th. And so we forgot to mention the static GK question here, and let me make a question here. Let me frame the question here. This is a static GK question. Article 40 of the Indian Constitution, which talks about organization of village panchayat, is mentioned in which part of Constitution of India? So options were part 2, part 3, option C part 4, option D part 4A. So you have to mention which is the right option. And I'm reading the question again. Article 40 of the Constitution is mentioned in which part of the Indian Constitution? Here you have options: part 3, part 2, part 3, part 4, and part 4A. So mention your answer in the comment section below. That's it for the day. Thank you so much for watching. Jai Hind.